Hello, I am Natalia Wojtkowiak and you are listening to the Manage the Problem podcast. I'm creating this place for owners and decision makers of small and medium-sized manufacturing companies. In this podcast, I talk openly and specifically about the problems of the production industry. I explain complex issues related to production management in simple language. I advise how to create optimized processes and effective teams. This is podcast created by practitioner for practitioners. So if you are looking for a knowledge, inspiration in a field of effective and efficient production and team management, you are in the right place. Welcome. I hope you are ready. Manage the problem. Process. This is a noun that should be one of the most frequently spoken words in your company. Should be. And why is it that case? This is what I would like to talk to you about today. In small and medium-sized manufacturing companies, the concept of process often appears as something fossilized, standardized, something overly appreciated, something difficult or necessary. In this sector of size of our industry, the process is something that owners run away from, shy away from, and don't notice the potential, let alone appreciate the process. Why? As always, everything based on false beliefs, lack of reliable knowledge, and bad experience. And this is very fertile ground for myths and distortions. I have encountered many of them in my work. Each time I overcame them and proved the effectiveness of process and effectiveness of management. Today, with you, I want to analyze the most popular myths about processes in company and think about what and how much your company and your team loses by believing in them and not building processes. So, get down to brass track. The list starts with myth number 1. My company is too small to implement and control the process. I have to disappoint you, but there is a 99% certainty that there is a process in your company. And probably not one, but several. And maybe it isn't created knowingly, maybe it isn't thought out and developed, but it is there. Think about it. If you produce a product, you take actions, use materials, techniques, tools to achieve an effect. It is a production process. If you sell a product, you produce and the customer buys these products. This is already a sales process. And these are just 2 examples and 2 processes. There are certainly many more. And it doesn't matter for a process that your company employs only 20 people, you work in old garage and you don't close every month with a profit. If your company produces something and there is a customer for it, why not notice the processes in your company, take a closer look at them and do everything to generate profit and savings, higher quality, and even a safety and friendly working environment? Most companies start with small productions and the teams and simple processes. But it was the creation and management of processes that allowed them to jump to higher level. Why Mercedes is a car synonymous with a quality and luxury? Because they have a good production and the quality processes. Why does Big Mac or Starbucks coffee taste the same everywhere in the world? Because they have a well-developed standardization process. It is the creation, the management, the development of processes that allows you to scale your business. And I know very well that there are companies that don't have the ambitions to grow to the size of corporation and conquer foreign markets. They want to be a current size and bring stable and good profit to their owners. And it's okay. And this decision doesn't exclude the needs for processes in the company. Production processes or production management. Give the company the tools to be more flexible in the relation to the market situation. Allow it to look for savings, profit and solutions within in the company using existing sources. I don't know, or I haven't heard of a company that had a well-built and run processes and did poorly, regardless of whether it was an industry leader or small factory. And speaking of industry leaders and all those large corporations, my second myth that I often hear in small companies was the argument the process will make my company as soulless as corporations. Please remember, a company is created by people. Processes are created by people, and the atmosphere at work is also created by people. A large company may be soulless. For example, if a structure of directors and managers is more complicated than family connections in the Bold and Beautiful. Equally soulless may be a local company whose owner thinks that he is a master of life and death, the local Sauron behind the gates of his business. And the bad work environment, regardless of the size of the company, is created by someone's lack of empathy, vision, sick ambitions, and unhealed complex and frustrations. Process and standards are only tools in wrong hands, not accused of them. If you are aware of this, you also have a compass in which direction you shouldn't go. And what about the mess in the company? Ineffective management, high cost, low profit, dissatisfied customers, leaving employees. Doesn't this change the atmosphere in the company? Doesn't this make the company unfriendly or even toxic place to work for all levels of employees and the owners as well? Processes enable to creation and control a company on many levels. And modern open process allow you to optimize production and logistic through various processes activities, but also allows you to create a space for discussion and exchange of ideas and information between different levels of the company. What can I say more? There are processes that protect the owner and managers and employees in the same time, such as safety and quality process. But more about it in another episode. In my opinion, and I will prove it in subsequent episodes, the process is built, not destroyed. Okay, let's go to the next myth. The third myth that is repeated in conversation with you decision makers in companies is the belief that implementing the process is difficult and expensive. I can assure you that continuing production without the process will be difficult because it will be expensive. From my experience, I can tell you that there are two truths. One, there are no difficult process implementation projects, only an improperly prepared plan and team. Two, in the long run, the lack of processes is more expensive than its implementation. Under these beliefs, in most cases, there isn't only a fear that something will take a time and will not bring a profit. There is also expectation that something will work quickly and multiply the profit easily. Unfortunately, as you implement the process, you must be aware that implementation also suffers from childhood disease. And there may be a temporary breakdown in results. Perhaps there will be even errors in implementation and communication strategy, which will result in employees' resistance or errors in the process itself. It happens, and I wanna say otherwise, but it's important to be consistent, attentive, and responsive in these moments. For me, building a process is like building a business. This isn't a sprint, it's a marathon. With a well-planned strategy, prepared team, and skillfully implemented actions, it's easier, but not simple. Many owners think that to improve the efficiency of their production, they need multi-million investments, huge changes, and a team of professionals. From my experience and observation of industry, multi-million-dollar budgets are often spent on the stupid things. Making large, quick steps, it's the easiest way to fall over. You need to know what your immediate goal is, what sources you have, and what limitations you have. this information, you know where you are. And in next episode, I will try to tell you how to achieve effective and optimized production and build a prepared and responsive team. I believe you found this episode interesting and helpful. Please share it with someone who may also be interested in it. Leave 5 stars on Spotify and a comment on YouTube. It will be an honor for me. Thank you. You can find me on Instagram, Manage the Problem, and on LinkedIn, Natalia Wojtkowiak.